Welcome to Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you equity for everyone, every day, with your host, Debra Gould. I am Debra Washington Gould, President and CEO of Debra Gould and Associate Inc. DGAI is based in New Orleans. I am a management consulting and performance management business founded in 1996. You can reach me or find me on my website at www.gouldassoc.com. Hustle Skirt is a podcast by the author, speaker, business owner, Debra Gould. The concept focus is on entrepreneurial mindset, community leaders, community activists, organizers, and women who are very influential in the business community, addressing and dealing with obstacles, pursuing opportunities, mentoring, and succeeding in various organizations, business, community activities as small business advocates, nonprofit, and for-profit businesses. I am so excited to have my guest today, attorney Wanda Anderson Davis. So understand this, to my guest as well as the listening audience of Hustle Skirt Podcast, the podcast will promote confidence, candid conversation, resilience, engagement, humility, encouragement, persistence. Aha, that's my word, persistence. Entrepreneur listeners, get ready because you're getting ready to meet an extraordinary woman. So you've also had the opportunity. This is Hustle Skirt Podcast Phase 2, where I have the privilege and opportunities to introduce to my listening audience outstanding and phenomenal women like attorney Wanda Anderson Davis. You probably have been following me since October 2022 on many of my Hustle Skirt podcast talks that you can find on social media and my YouTube. But this phase, I'm going to bring forth so many extraordinary business women in the community who are trailblazers. So I believe in bolstering characteristics of responsibility, abundance, and excellence to excel one's greatest heights in business acumen, both in professionally and personally. So with that being said, I like to say to my guests, boot up, get fired up, get ready to bring forth your enthusiasm, excitement, energy, because attorney Wanda Anderson Davis is your open market to tell Hustle Skirt podcast hosts and listening audience how you celebrate, value, and appreciate you. But more importantly, tell us, how can others find out about you in your legal profession? This will be an opportunity for interviewing guests to connect with attorney Wanda Davis and market your services to Hustle Skirt podcast audience. So I am indeed, Wanda, excited about this opportunities. So if you'll give me a chance to share with my listening audience your true credential. Because see, I know you're a change maker. I know that you are a positive, influential woman, and you just give it all to family, to your kids, to your church, but they really need to hear this magnificent woman credential. So before us is attorney Wanda Davis. Wanda Anderson Davis has 38 years of experience, is a trial attorney who began her career in Washington, D.C., relocated to New Orleans as in-house counsel for the Regional Transit Authority, and for those locally, we say RTA, and to insurance companies. In private practice for 26 years, and is a partner of Sullivan Dupre and Solouki, a litigation law firm. Please help me welcome attorney Wanda Anderson Davis. Hello, Wanda.
Hello, Debra.
Thank you so much for being my guest on Hustle Skirt Podcast. So we're going to jump right into this because I'm going to stop talking. I have some general and specific and fun questions. However, I want you to use the next 8, 10, 12 minutes to engage my audience in who you are. Then I will come at the very end and close the show out. But right now, it's all about attorney Wanda Anderson Davis. So you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you,
Okay,
Debra, for the invitation.
okay. So here we go, everyone. Wanda, tell me about yourself.
Well, since 1985, I've been an attorney. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a daughter, but most of all, I'm a child of God who is trying to live a purpose-driven life to do what God would have me to do. And I believe that being an attorney is a part of my purpose.
Powerful. Y'all, boot up, get ready, because she's going to bring it. Why did you decide to start your own business?
I decided to start my own business because I was tired of working in corporate America. I know that during your introduction, you talked about where I came from, but at the time, it was 1997. I was working, going into my 10th year as in-house counsel to my second insurance company. And I was tired of the long hours. We had gone to a platform where we traveled to Nashville. I was in my office at 2:00 in the morning, getting ready to go out on my trips, packing all my files. And I found out I was poised to run for public office, had actually taken a leave of absence to run for a judgeship, found that I was pregnant with my second child, and that my swearing in would have been at the same time had I won as I was having that child. So I decided that motherhood was more important to me at the time. And I decided to be able to manage my time. I already had a 2-year-old, that I needed to do something that would allow me to manage my time. So I decided to go into private practice, and it's worked for me. I've been able to raise my children who are now successful in their own right, and now helping to raise a grandchild. So it's all worked out.
I like to call the family the Hustle family because they are really an amazing, talk about a strong family unit, the Davis family. So for some reason in my introduction, I really messed up on the firm that you're with. So can you share with our audience the full name so we'll get it right when they decide to look you up, Wanda?
Sure. The firm name is Sullivan Dupre and Solouki, and our website address is sdslawllc.com if you want to know more about me.
Is there a direct number, or you rather that they just visit
Absolutely.
the website?
They can call me at 504-830-3990.
For our listening audience, would you please repeat that website again?
The website is sdslawllc.com.
So my next question, how do you stay on top of the industry?
Staying on top of the legal industry is a challenge because law changes every day. Every legislative session, our laws change. Fortunately, I'm a person who absolutely loves research. My minor in college was history, so I'm always researching. So it kind of works hand in hand. And I absolutely love research. I teach continuing legal education to attorneys. In fact, I'm preparing to go to Point Clear, Alabama, to teach at a bench and bar conference at the end of the month. I teach for several other entities. And so teaching helps me to to stay on top of what the newest trend in the law is. I love doing CLEs. I love doing educational, talks. I did one last week for my church on wills, trusts, estates, estate planning. So I love doing that kind of stuff, and it keeps me definitely focusing on top of what's going on in my industry.
Well, you're absolutely on top of what's happening in the trends of the legal profession. So thank you for your gift and for all those who are blessed by your legal services. So that was some general question, Attorney Davis. I'd like to move now to some specific questions. What services or products do you offer? I heard about the will and some other things, but what are some of the other services that you provide?
Sure. I'm a trial attorney. I've been a trial attorney since almost day one when I went to Washington, D.C. I was thrown into traveling around with law judges, administrative law judges, and we tried cases. So I'm a trial attorney. My primary practice is emphasis in litigation practice in personal injury cases for people injured in small automobile accidents, 18-wheeler automobile accidents, any kind of personal injury, slip and fall, we do it all. I practice a lot in the labor law area. I practice a lot of Title VII, discrimination law, housing discrimination, you name it, I do the discrimination piece. I do a lot of corporate law. I represent banks, I represent churches, I do successions, as you said, I do commercial litigation. So almost anything that can be tried, our firm does it in addition to doing estate planning, which includes your powers of attorneys, your wills, your trusts, that kind of stuff.
A lot of career experience over 26 years. I hope our audience is sucking up all of the services and products that you can offer, Attorney Davis. So here's my next question. What will you never compromise on with your business?
In my actual 38 years of practice, I've been in private practice for 26.
Okay,
in my 38 years of practice, the thing that I am never going to compromise is my ethical standard. You have to believe in what you're doing, but you have to be able to comply with the ethical requirements and the standards that are required in your profession. In our profession, we have a code of ethics. I actually have been blessed to actually have been the past president of the Louisiana Attorney Disciplinary Board to enforce those ethical standards. So that's one thing I'm not going to compromise.
Excellent, excellent. One other question I have in my Pacific category. What are the 3 most important habits to be a successful entrepreneur or savvy company's leader?
I think one of the most important characteristics is that you have to be transparent. You absolutely have to be transparent with your clients. I'm required to be transparent with the court. I'm required to be transparent with other opposing counsel. Sometimes there are things that may, not help your case, may hurt your case, but our profession requires transparency at all times. I think the second most important characteristics is truth. I believe in being truthful. I'm not going to color code stuff. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm going to let the truth fall where the truth falls. And usually, it works to your benefit. But I tell my clients, if you tell one lie, you have to tell 2. And then you get confused about what lie you told. So just tell the truth from the beginning and we won't have any issues.
Absolutely.
So I think truth is extremely important. I think the other thing for an attorney, the most important thing is being responsive to the need of the client. You may have one idea about how you want a case to go, but you have to figure out what the need of that client is and what's in the best interest of that client. So I believe that if you combine transparency, truth, and responsiveness to the client, I think for an attorney, those are 3 major characteristics.
In my 30 plus years of knowing you as an attorney, a friend, and in so many other ways in our special relationship, You have always been an example of leadership. I have watched you in sorority, in your church, in your community. And so, my last question, I hope it's somewhat fun for you. What makes a good leader so it can really be a benefit and value to our listening audience?
I believe a good leader is a dedicated person. So I would have to say the first attribute has to be dedication, that you're dedicated to the cause or organization that you're working for. You have to be able to learn how to adjust your schedule to fully comply with that dedication. But I think dedication is first. And I think after dedication, I think compassion. You have to have compassion for what you're doing. It has to be something that you believe in and something that you want to do. The law is my compassion. It's something that I truly believe in, and I believe in helping other people, but I believe in being a good leader. You have to have compassion for the thing that you're doing. And lastly, I think a good leader has to have follow through. You have to be able to complete whatever you start. If you start a project, you have to be able to be dedicated and committed to taking it through to the end.
Absolutely. Ditto, ditto, ditto. So there you have it. To Hustle Skirt podcast listeners, you have heard about what it takes to be a good leader. You have heard 3 most important habits by Attorney Davis, and what to tell us about her particular industry, the trends that impact a lot of the work that she's doing in the community. So at this time, we would like to close out our show by letting you know again, Hustle Skirt objective is to empower you to speak power. And we certainly heard that from Attorney Davis. Embrace change in your own vision, mission, and as we heard earlier in Attorney Davis, purpose-driven life. And I want you to get fired up and passionate about what she just shared about being dedicated and committed to something that you're involved in from start to finish. So this is what I want my listening audience to do. Make sure to visit our website at www.persistencelane.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Player FM, Podchaser, and Podbean apps, so you will never miss a show, and especially the one you've just heard in this interview with attorney Wanda Anderson Davis. While you're at it, if you found today's show of value, I will appreciate a rating on iTunes, or you can simply just tell a friend to check out Hustle Skirt Podcast. You are listening to the Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you equity for everyone every day, with your host, Debra Gould. I hope you've enjoyed this interview. I would like to get your feedback, and one more time to attorney Wanda Anderson Davis, please share with our listening audience your website and your contact number, please.
Absolutely. Website is sdslawllc.com. Contact number is 504-830-3990. Wanda Anderson Davis. Thank you so much, Debra Washington Gould, for including me on this empowering equity, wealth, prosperity conference. It has been so wonderful being with you. Thank you for a woman in her own right who is moving the bar forward.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that positive feedback. And again, to Hustle Skirt listeners, you're listening to the Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you equity for everyone every day, with your host, Debra Washington Gould. Until we meet again, make yourself a great day on purpose.
Thank you.